Welcome to Winning Retirement Television. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Greg and Kristen Taylor of Legacy Retirement Group. Kristen, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. Greg, how are you today?
Living the dream. I love doing the show.
Oh, good. I love having you both in the studio. Thank you for always asking me to be a part of this with you because, wow, you are changing lives. You're making a difference in the lives of so many people through your radio show, through the television show. So, Kristen, has life been busy for you lately in the office?
It is very busy in the office and busy at home. I have 3 boys that, we've talked about on the show that are in junior year and freshman and 5th grade. And so super busy with them. And the office is busy as ever. Phones are always ringing. And we're so thankful and humbled, really, by the amount of support we get from our show and from our radio show.
Yes, and everyone loves it. They always talk about how natural you two are and just the humor that we bring. So thank you so much. I love our shows together. So I have a very interesting study from Northwestern University. And forgive me for a second, viewers, I have to look down to read this. This is about attitudes and behaviors of American adults towards money. What they've noticed is that 71% of the people that responded felt their financial planning needed improvement, but only 29% work with an advisor. Research also suggests people who work with a financial advisor feel more at ease about their finances and could end up with about 15% more money to spend in retirement. Obviously, there is zero guarantee, but if someone listening this weekend is thinking about hiring a financial advisor, what should they ask or be aware of? Greg?
Goodness, this is such a big deal because one of the most personal things that is near and dear to us is our money. And it's sort of difficult to have a conversation with a total stranger.
It's kind of taboo, right? It's like a taboo subject still.
So picking an advisor, someone that you're going to entrust with your money, but not just your money, because your money means your ability to maintain your lifestyle, that comfort zone. When you're home and you're dressed in comfortable clothes and you're curled up, in the wintertime in front of a cozy fire and you got your favorite movie on and you're in your comfortable space.
That sounds so good.
It does,
awesome.
doesn't it?
Let's just all go right now.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, when you find the right advisor, you're in your comfortable space.
Yeah.
You found a space where you've found the person that you believe really encompasses what you're looking for in your plan. Someone that really thinks the way you think and allows you to be who you are and not feel judged. This is a tough thing about hiring an advisor because a lot of times people come in and they're worried that they're going to be judged for the decisions they've made. And nothing should be further from the truth. An advisor who has your best interest at heart is there to hear your voice and to help you put into place the things that are near and dear to you. That's really what hiring an advisor is all about.
Absolutely. And it is such an important relationship. And the way you describe it actually almost sounds like someone that you're married to. It's kind of like a no judgment zone, free to be yourself. So this is interesting. One of the things, Greg and Kristen, I want to talk about is not hiring the very first advisor that you meet. Is that something that people tend to do, Kristen, where they just talk to one person and think that's their only option and they just decide to sign with that person that day?
Yeah, I think that does happen. And I actually like it when people come into our office and they say, well, I have 2 more advisors to meet with before I make a decision. I think that's a good thing because some of it's personal, it's knowledge. Obviously, the person you work with has to know what they're doing, right? That's kind of the given. But then you have to mesh from a personality standpoint with the person you're working with. We've been doing this show for how many years now?
Almost 4.
4 years. And if we didn't mesh with you, you're just a wonderful person. I don't know how anyone could not mesh with you. But it wouldn't be a good relationship, right? We wouldn't have that back and forth that is successful during the show, right? We wouldn't get calls. And so the same thing's true with searching for a financial advisor. You need to have that comfortability to be able to go back and forth and have conversations that are tough and share things that are hard to share, health issues and personal things, financial strains, all those things that need to be talked about. You're not going to be able to do that with someone that you don't mesh with very well.
That's true.
And Kristen, it should be a red flag if someone requires you to make a decision right away.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, Kristen will tell you I agonize over every decision.
That sounds like my husband.
I mean, I won't go
It's
buy a
painful.
Yes.
I won't buy a microwave without going home and agonizing to make sure
And
it's the right one.
I would be the one guilty of hiring someone right away.
Yeah.
I would be
Me
guilty
too.
of that.
I am like you.
Yes.
Greg, you're just like my
Yeah.
husband. Okay.
So don't, if someone's applying any measure of pressure, that should be a red flag. This person may not have my best interest at heart.
Yeah.
And it's okay to make a change too. If you
it
see
is.
the red flag, when you were saying that, I'm thinking of one of our clients that she and I go to lunch every once in a while. She's just wonderful. I think she's 81 now, and she looks like she's 60. And she came to us several years back now and said she was working with a financial advisor for years, and she had made a sell of one of her businesses she owned. She's a very successful woman, and she had a check, and she couldn't decide if she wanted to put the money with him from her checkbook. And she's sitting in the meeting, and she's like, "Well, let me go home and think about it. I don't have my checkbook with me anyway." And he goes, "Yes, you do. It's in your purse. I saw it."
No.
And I said, "Please tell me that was your red flag." She said, "Yep, I decided that day I wasn't going to work with him anymore."
That's unbelievable.
And she said it was hard. She had been to his daughter's high school graduation. She had been to one of their family members' weddings. I mean, she was entrenched in this family.
Yeah.
And I said, "Good for you for realizing that change needed to be made."
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow, that is scary. And what about the advisor strategy making sense for where you are in life, making sure that your philosophy meshes with the advisor's philosophy for money?
Well, Cynthia, this is huge because there's a lot of really, really smart, intelligent, good advisors with great intentions that really specifically work in the accumulation phase of life, where we're, in our 20s and maybe up to age 50, and you're just trying to grow a portfolio as quickly as you possibly can, really not worrying about the ups and downs of the market because you're continually putting more and more money in.
Well, and I think traditionally a lot of people didn't work with their first advisor until their kids needed to go to college, right?
Many times that's
And
correct.
I think that's changing a little bit now, but that person that helped you with investing and setting up things for your child's college fund isn't necessarily, maybe great at that, but they're not necessarily the best person to help you into retirement. And that's a totally different spectrum of planning.
Sure.
True, because whoever you're hiring in your retirement years needs to really be well versed with Medicare, with Social Security, understanding how IRMA can impact the cost of your Medicare Part B premiums, and how to strategize your income so that doesn't become a problem for you moving forward, understanding how to create a written income plan, understanding how taxes work in retirement, understanding about health care and how moving forward you can be protected from a major cost there, and how to transition whatever you leave behind to the people you love. This is all part of a retirement strategy. It doesn't mean that people that don't understand those things are bad advisors. It just means that they're not really skilled and versed in that area. Depending on someone like that to create a retirement plan would be me going to a podiatrist to have my heart condition checked.
Yeah.
Not a bad doctor, pretty smart, just not well versed at what I need.
Well, Greg, this is the perfect segue into the fact that you and Kristen have a very special offer to present today. Let's talk about what that is before we take a commercial break.
We do. It's a customized written plan. And I believe every person transitioning to retirement needs a written plan. So I would ask you, do you have a written plan that deals with your risk versus return as a retirement plan? A written income plan that gives you confidence that you can live out your lifestyle without outliving your money. A tax plan, a strategy to help reduce or eliminate taxes in your retirement. Healthcare, making sure that a long-term healthcare scare or other healthcare needs doesn't devastate your retirement, and whatever you leave behind, getting it to those you love as efficiently as possible. If you don't have a written plan, we're going to offer that to you. Just give us a call, 614-336-7660, or you can take your smartphone, go to our QR code, go to our landing page, and you can download our My Retirement Kit on our website. You can go to our Calendly and schedule an appointment all on your own if you don't feel comfortable with calling. But either way, we would be honored to sit down with you and your family just to help you navigate through a customized written retirement plan.
Greg, thank you so much. Kristen, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, that number to call, 614-336-7660. You deserve to take advantage of this opportunity today. Please don't miss out. That number again, 614-336-7660. You've worked your entire life to get to the retirement years. What Greg and Kristen are offering you is peace of mind. And honestly, that's priceless. We're going to take a very short commercial break here on Winning Retirement TV, but don't go anywhere. We have so much more with Greg and Kristen Taylor when we return.
I'm sometimes nervous when I don't know exactly what to expect. I find that there's a little hesitation in folks to want to go meet with an advisor. Maybe they're not sure of how they've done compared to others, but it's really our job to just sit down and have a conversation. There's an advisor for almost every street corner here in our city. At Legacy Retirement Group, we believe that if you plan smart, you can retire well. We want you to be successful in any economy. And how do you accomplish that in today's world? Well, we first want to look at the principles by which we're playing. No investment decision should ever be made outside the context of your plan. Then your plan determines your positions and what you hold in retirement. We want you to manage risk. We want you to not be surprised by healthcare costs or inflation or taxes. We don't want those to derail your retirement, and our focus has always been consistency and efficiency. Really trying to maintain what it is that we've spent our lifetime accumulating and now transitioning that into a plan, transitioning that into something that feels secure and gives me peace of mind so that I know I'm not going to outlive my money. It's nice to see that relief in people's faces when you can tell they're confident in their plan.
Greg really gets pleasure out of seeing our clients' success.
Welcome back to Winning Retirement TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Greg and Kristen Taylor of Legacy Retirement Group. This next segment, I would love to talk to you about a lot of people who are in the viewing audience today, and obviously they're coming home after work, they turn on the television, or they're listening to the radio as they're driving home, and they're concerned about the things that they're listening to right now. We know there's a lot going on in the world with rising interest rates. We have global things that people are dealing with, and this really impacts, if you will, the investor's frame of mind. There's so much fear involved. They don't know what to expect, and all of these things that I'm mentioning are kind of out of control. So Greg, what guidance do you have for those types of people that are in the audience today that are listening to all this news and they're internalizing it and they're just not sure what's right and what's wrong?
It's enough to scare you to death. I mean, it is, because you hear about Russia and Ukraine and the supply chain shortages and what's going on in Europe, and we hear about China and all the threats that are really we're looking at there as a country, and then how that impacts our economy here in the U.S. And we look at Washington, D.C., and we see that there's total chaos there. And we have really a spending that's been out of control for several years now. And both sides of the aisle can't seem to come together and work together for us as a country. And now we have people that, even within their own family can't seem to get along because of things that are on the national agenda, and then there's all this noise.
Yeah, and the noise, but it's justified though, right? Because a lot of times we're afraid because of a trauma. I'm thinking we had the privilege of meeting with a colleague in Nebraska a couple years ago and sitting in on some of his appointments with him. We both did Greg and he did some mentoring together, and so they were bouncing ideas off of each other, and we sat in with one of his clients, and she tearfully told us a story about how she thought about money was from how her dad thought about money, and her dad thought that about money because a bank he had his money deposited in failed, and he lost everything at one point. And so her fears were based on what his fears and experiences were. And I think the same is true as investors. We've been through the 2008, we've been through the dot-com bubble, we've been through the Great Recession, we've been through now the pandemic. And so we've been through all these things, and we see more problems coming on the horizon. It makes me think about Jaden several years back when he first started sleeping in a big boy bed.
Okay.
So he's 10 years old now, and I
Yep.
think he was 2 at the time. Around when we put him in his new bed, Greg and he were out mowing. We used to live out on 6 acres property.
Wow. Okay.
And they were out mowing. And back in the very back of our property, we used to do these bonfires, and we had hay bales set up from the fall and never got rid of them. They sat out there all winter, and then it was spring, and they were back there mowing, and all of a sudden I see them both running. They hopped off the mower and just came running towards the house, and I think, what are they doing? Greg's ripping his shirt off, ripping Jaden's shirt off. They were being attacked by yellow jackets.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And so from that point on, they ran and jumped in the pool. It was actually kind of funny after I realized they were okay.
Clothes and all.
Yeah, I mean, and so from that point on, Jaden was scared of bees. Every night it was, there's bees in my bed. If he felt any little tingle on his skin, there was bees on him, and I had to make up this fake thing about bee spray and spray it in his room every night to try to get him to go to sleep. But he still wakes up at night, and we've talked about it on the show, and he still has trouble going to sleep sometimes, not necessarily from bees, but I think it's that trauma.
Of
So then
course.
when he goes to bed, he's thinking about everything that happened during the day.
Yeah.
And I think we as adults do the same thing. We start thinking through these things. And so one of the main things we tell our clients or people who call in is turn it off.
Yes.
It's not helping you any, because you're not going to solve a problem by watching the problem over and over again.
That's true.
Let's get your personal economy under control. Let's do the things we can do, like the portfolio X-ray, to see where your risk is, to see how much risk you have with political risk and the different the ups and downs that the market gives, and do we have money that's your sleep well at night money available, so that you can be safeguarded when the market's up and down. And so we look at all those things and say, what can we do that's outside of the noise to solve some of the fears that you have?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's important, Cynthia, that we know where we stand, because we can sit at home and worry, or we can figure out where we stand. Have you ever just not quite felt right, and you all of a sudden you Google it, and then you find 50 major things that are life-threatening that you could have because of this one feeling you have?
Absolutely.
And you could sit at home and worry and worry and worry, or you could schedule an appointment. You could go get tested and find out, is there actually anything seriously wrong?
Yeah.
And when it comes to our money, it's no different. We could worry about what's going on in Washington. We could worry about the interest rates. We could worry about inflation. We can worry about Russia and Ukraine. We could worry about all these things, all the noise. Or we could get someone to test what we're doing. Is our risk versus return in line? Are we being efficient with risk? Do we have a solid income plan where we can be efficient and know we're not going to outlive that income? Do we have a tax strategy so if taxes go up in a major way down the road that we don't feel like we're going to be devastated by these tax increases? Do we have a healthcare strategy in place to protect us if there is a major healthcare scare? And then what happens down the road? Can we help our family avoid probate and those extra costs and time and things like that? It's all about planning. So have yourself tested, get your portfolio and everything tested first, then get a plan. And look, we could work all day and say, well, I'm just going to start building. You could just start building, but who knows how it'll turn out. Or you could have a set of plans drawn up. Say, okay, I can see here how my risk can get in line. I can see here how I've got a written income plan, how I have a strategy for taxes in the future, and so on. So having a written plan can give you peace of mind versus just sitting at home and worrying.
Absolutely.
Then be proactive. Sometimes you just have to take action, pick up the phone or go to a website and start today changing things.
Well, this is the perfect time for us to reopen the phone lines. Would you both agree?
Yes.
For sure.
Okay. To our viewers at home, that number to call is 614-336-7660. As Greg just mentioned so eloquently, the pieces and parts of that retirement plan. Do you have all of those things factored in? Do you have a tax plan, Social Security, legacy planning, long-term care, health care, Medicare, everything that you need to retire with confidence, to retire with clarity, and to be comfortable? This is a completely complimentary consultation, and you deserve to take advantage of this today. You've worked your entire life for this time. And if you have any questions, This is the perfect time to call in and take advantage of this appointment. Once again, 614-336-7660, or if you have your smartphone handy, go ahead, grab it, click on that QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That will take you right to Legacy Retirement Group's landing page. We're going to take a very short commercial break, but don't go anywhere. I have so much more on Winning Retirement TV with Greg and Kristen Taylor.
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Ben. Hey, birthday party for Carol and 5. Happy birthday to you.
Good morning, Ben. Happy Monday.
Daryl's birthday, be there every square. Happy birthday to you. You can see from our quarterly report on slide number 62, we're trending in the right direction. All signs point to a very positive outlook for the next several years. If you peel back the onion...
Ben, do you have anything to add?
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to Winning Retirement Television. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Greg and Kristen Taylor of Legacy Retirement Group. And in our first segment, I mentioned how you are both so passionate about changing lives, not only with the television show, but also the radio show. We have actually a question that came in from one of your radio listeners. So do you mind if I just kind of dive into it?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. This is from a listener of your weekly radio show on WTVN 610. Reached out seeking insight because she loves her work. She has saved well. She has a pension, but she isn't totally comfortable with the idea of retirement. This may sound like a silly question, but she would like to know, can the Legacy team help someone if they don't know if they want to retire? As of right now, she feels undecided.
For sure, because a plan encompasses everything that someone wants to do, whether it is start a new business after they retire. How many times have we had that happen?
Yeah.
Or someone who wants to do consulting, someone who wants to find a new passion, a new purpose. Those are things that, you know, it's fun sitting down with people and having those conversations and really understanding what the next few years is actually visualized through their eyes.
Yeah.
Because to me, I don't even like to call it retirement, because that sounds like I'm going to stop doing anything.
Yeah.
I like to call it more transition planning than anything else, because what do we want this next phase to look like?
Yeah.
And that can mean so many different things to different people. So we don't really go into a meeting thinking, okay, we want to take this step or that step or another step. It's more of discovery. What is it that you want this next phase of your life to look like?
And then the second part is the implementation part. So understand that you can start your retirement planning process without actually implementing it yet. That's getting your ducks in a row. That's figuring out where the money lays and what you need the money to do in the future for you. And especially if you're that 2 to 5 year mark out from retirement. Got my tongue twisted there. If you're 2 to 5 years out before retirement, that's the perfect time. And if you don't know the end date, that's okay. Sometimes we can't start the implementation until you retire. Let's say your money's tied up, or you're at an age where there would be penalty to remove those dollars, but we can at least start the ball rolling and understand what you need to do to get set up for when you do retire.
Okay.
One of our advisors, Brent, recently met with a lady. She called in from television with a little bit of uncertainty as well. And when she came in, she was telling Brent about her 401k and the struggles she had there, the pension that she has, and not quite sure when she wanted to take that. But then she said that, she was worried that Social Security wouldn't be there in the future, so she took it early while she was still working. And so now she's in what she calls Social Security jail.
Oh no! Oh no!
Like Facebook jail.
Because what happened, if you make over $20,000 a year, then for every $2 you make, you have to give $1 back. Well, she had made so much that she wasn't getting Social Security any longer. So now she's at a point where she won't get a check until she's full retirement age. And so she's in Social Security jail, in her words, because currently even though she claimed it, she doesn't get it because of how much she makes.
Oh my goodness.
So helping her put all the pieces together, how to put together a plan for when she does actually want to retire, factoring in Social Security once she's out of jail, and then the pension options and health care and putting all those pieces together so that she could feel comfortable. So Brent laid out a plan. Okay, here's where you stand. And what we found out was that she thought she was super conservative in her portfolio, but she was really aggressive. And she was shocked to find out that her risk score was a 39, but her portfolio was a 63.
Wow.
So that's a lot more risk than what she thought she was taking. So putting together the risk return, income plan, tax plan, and everything else was what she was looking for, and Brent was able to help her with that.
And there's also the piece of knowing you're socially ready to retire, because I mean,
Yeah.
outside of work, a lot of times people have no social life. Their work group are who they socialize with the most.
true.
So losing that can make you feel like you're losing purpose, relevancy, friendships. And so getting that in order even as well before you retire, making sure there's something that can help you fulfill a purpose, whether it's volunteering, doing stuff at your church. There's all kinds of things that people have done that are just so creative over the years to transition, like Greg said, into a new phase. And that phase would be volunteering or socializing outside of their normal position at work.
Kristen, thank you so much. Greg, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, that number to call is 614-336-7660. Greg and Kristen realize that you have a lot of questions about how to plan your perfect retirement. They're offering you this complimentary consultation. You've worked your entire life to get to the retirement years, and you deserve to take advantage of this opportunity. 614-336-7660. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. We'll see you back 1 week from today on Winning Retirement TV with Greg and Kristen Taylor.